Yeah.
You know what you're listening to? We got that sauce. We got that knowledge. We got that power. We got that education. We got that money motivation.
Wow.
You listening to Everything Validated.
Everything Validated. The podcast for those trying to bridge the gap between hip hop and finance, specifically cryptocurrency.
They ain't give me a stream deck yet, so I'm gonna do that verbally.
Yes, y'all, and welcome to those who are seeing us through the video. I am Mr. Malik, the engineer,
And I am Mr. Rafix.
coming to you through this microphone via the Hip Hop Network, specifically the Hip Hop Blockchain Network.
Stays
Connected, and this is episode two of the Everything Validated podcast. Welcome, y'all. Welcome, first-time listeners. Once again, this is the podcast that's bridging finance to hip hop, and there's a lot of news in the industry. But before we get to that, all the meat and potatoes, I just want to say what's poppin', Mr. Ralphix.
You know, I'm just feeling good, chilling over on this side. I was trying to crush my ramen noodles, but we got bigger things to focus on.
Hey, all you need is a couple bites. It's not like it's any nutrients in there anyway.
It just keeps the engine going.
Most definitely.
So let's start the car. Zoom.
It's electric. It didn't make too much noise. You know what I'm saying? So if you listen to the first podcast, first of all, we appreciate you. How did you listen to it? Let us know, because we're now listed on almost everything. Shout out to our distributor. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. As of right now, Amazon Music, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Reason, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Pocket Cast, Deezer, Listen Notes, Player FM, and Podcast Index. And the list goes on.
In other words, we podding people.
Podding. Now that being said, we appreciate you. Thank you for all of the listens. We got a couple emails about milestones for downloads. So, expecting nothing, excited at everything.
All right. So, a lot of you must be asking. The first episode, it was HHBP, Hip Hop Blockchain Podcast. Might be wondering, we're sporting some new duds over here at Everything Validated. Well, we come to realize, since everything we talking about has to be factual, it only makes sense that we also validate the title.
Valid. Certified.
So that being said, again, welcome to Everything Validated.
It's the same concept, but brand new outfit. So go ahead, check that out online. We got the TikTok, Everything Validated, Instagram, Everything Validated, Twitter, Everything Valid.
You heard?
We up. YouTube, Everything Validated, Facebook, Everything Validated. Go check it out. And when you type in Everything Validated, we should be the ones that come up with the purple logo. That's what you want to listen to. Go ahead, follow it, make it easier.
That's us.
Turn on notifications. We need all that right now, because real supporters need to stand out. And if you really supporting, we have a support the show link. You know what I'm saying? It's there for you. You know who you are. Extra content, funny comedy, debates, thrilling, new, marvelous content is waiting for you in the Patreon link. We appreciate you.
Jeez. All right.
Now, what you got on your mind?
I had a lot still. There's been a lot going on lately. I'm not sure if you've been peeping into the financial news.
I mean, for sure, we had a lot going on. The FOMC shook up the room a little bit. Crypto is going crazy right now. So, what specifically was piquing your interest?
Specifically in the FOMC news. So if you want to pull that up, I can bring it from memory, but everything validated over here.
I got you. I got you.
But in gist, the the zero interest rates,
It's still here.
it's looking good for the next year.
You think it's gonna last a year?
Not the whole year. To be honest, like when you're really looking at what's happening, market's been on this crazy bullish tier, and like it's not trying to stop anytime soon.
So you think it's a bubble that's gonna pop?
Bruh, I'm anticipating this pop, but now with this latest FOMC release, I have a feeling they're going to be pooling funds again, maybe up until, if I do recall, they did mention maybe percentage might change a little bit in March, but as going into the first quarter,
right,
ain't nothing happening. So,
but it's no promises. Jay Powell, he be taking care down there at our neighbors in the U.S. But just to break down what we're talking about a little bit, very high level, of course, because do your own research. But generally speaking, the FOMC meeting happens. What do they say? 8 times a year.
Yes, indeed.
Twice a quarter.
Yes, indeed.
If everything's according to schedule. And the FOMC is the Federal Open Market Committee. Okay, so they consist of 12 members from the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System. All right, so they be meeting and talking about what's going to take place in the market, reacting and putting forth initiatives, for example, changing
interest
rates for banks, which trickle down to consumers, and other things that do affect the marketplace. So it's very important to keep a watch on that. Definitely. Just want to make sure we break everything down because episode 1, there's a lot of terms discussed, and we do promise to break it down on a level for the culture to understand, for everybody to understand.
Speaking on that, I feel last episode we dropped a lot of big words with no definitions behind them.
Absolutely.
So I kind of feel we need to address some of those just so our listeners are at a better advantage moving forward.
Oh, for sure. If I recall correctly, we broke down blockchain. Next thing we got to, as a result, was smart contracts. Okay, so shout out Investopedia, one of the best to break things down. But I'm just going to provide the definition that they have here. So what is a smart contract? A smart contract is a self-executing contract with the terms of the agreement between the buyer and seller being directly written into lines of code. The code and the agreements contained therein exist across a distributed, decentralized blockchain network. The code controls the execution, and transactions are trackable and irreversible. It goes on to say smart contracts permit trusted transactions and agreements to be carried out among disparate. Oh, that's a new one.
Mark that down, ladies and gentlemen.
Anonymous parties without the need for a central authority, legal system, or external enforcement mechanism. Okay, so if you're listening to episode 1, it's kind of how it sounds. It's like a smart contract, an e-contract. It's terms that are binding, but via code. So it's digital. Okay, that's on Investopedia. I wanna provide
one actual interesting thing that I actually found out recently. When it comes to smart contracts, say for example, I have a product on one of those NFT exchanges, and my smart contract is built in to execute after a purchase has been made. What I now found out, if I have a system built in my smart contract where I'm receiving royalties on a duration, whatever it's set to, if that product gets taken off of the market that I sold it on and resold on another market that I don't receive.
Does it apply?
No, it doesn't apply.
What if you put it in your initial smart contract?
If it's in my initial smart contract, yes, but it would have to stay on the platform. So say, for example, I make something, I mint it, I put it on OpenSea, and then someone buys it off OpenSea and then puts it on any one of the other NFT platforms.
Do they have full ownership? Because if they're going to be able to transfer it to a new...
I would have to write it in my contract, so pay attention.
Do they have full ownership? One is one of my questions. And because like if I'm going to fully remove it from here and put it here, that means it's not yours. You created it, but it's mine.
No, so say for example, like you bought a Top Shot off me on OpenSea. You could take the Top Shot. You could do whatever. But if you want to resell that Top Shot, normally you'd go back on OpenSea, do the resell. I would then still receive the royalties. But if you decide to put it on another platform for the resell, that portion of my smart contract is not going to activate. So I won't receive those royalties.
Yeah, you won't get the money automatically
because it's
you
not
set royalties in the smart
on
contract.
This
but
platform.
Again, what if you put in the smart contract that, like, if you made any type of terms for the other platforms, like if you sell this anywhere, I get this. Will it register?
So that's what you have to actually stipulate specifically in
all
your smart
blockchains
contract.
Pick that up, do you think, or is it specific?
So now that's another issue that I found out, that not all platforms communicate. So you'd have to find out if your platform communicates with.
So if I'm gonna drop a Tory Lanez style NFT album, and you buy a copy of this one of one, or one of 7, you copy it and you sell it somewhere else, I don't see the royalties from that.
I would have to specifically write it in the language to reflect for every platform.
Yeah, because I need mine. We can't be doing that. Look, earlier we said, what did we say? Disparate. Essentially, different in kind, not allowing comparison. For example, they inhibit disparate worlds of thought.
Completely separate.
Thank you, Google. So they're saying smart contracts permit trusted transactions and agreements to be carried out among disparate, anonymous parties without the need for a central authority, legal system, or external enforcement mechanism.
We had to go back and correct that.
Investopedia, shout out y'all. Okay. Man, it makes more sense to me now. You learn something new every day. Matter of fact, I got to tweet that one later. That's the YDN word of the day. We're going to make that the word of the day.
Yeah.
Disparate. And that's what we enjoy doing, breaking it down in a way that everybody can understand.
Just clap it up for them, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's get it. And going on with the definitions, we touched on blockchain, smart contracts. You're talking about burning as well. You're talking about burning. And later on, I want to provide a resource or two on how we can stay abreast to the relevant financial information and tools that we need to stay sharp out here in this market.
So you might ask, what is burning? In short, it is a way to manage inflation. All right, so as per Investopedia, we are going to do a read for read. In the past year and a half, digital currencies have come to prominence in both the daily news and as well as investor attention. There are still many prominent holdouts, but more and more investors are buying into the importance of digital currencies and blockchain technologies. As a result, in just 12 months, the aggregate value of all cryptocurrencies skyrocketed by more than 3,000%. The fact that some investors managed to get very wealthy very quickly off trendy new investment area has only fueled further investments in this space. Even in short time, when digital currencies have grabbed our attention, there have nonetheless been certain trends that have come and gone. Bitcoin was one of the major trends in the cryptocurrency space. Shortly after, private coins like Dash, Monero seemed to be all the rage. Now, it seems that another predecessor has become one of the trendiest parts of digital currency world, coin and burning.
So it's like when a coin's gone to waste.
Essentially. So when you have wasteful coins, what are you going to do with them? Rather than taking up market cap and making the value stagnant, you get rid of them, therefore increasing scarcity.
Right. It's like the opposite of printing money. I didn't even know they did that.
Very
so
important.
so for the people that put the wrong address in when they're sending the Bitcoin, kind of like an e-transfer, and it ends up in nobody's wallet. So it's an unusable coin. Those eventually get burned.
Yes, indeed.
Very interesting.
So the term burning, it's essentially as it is. Getting rid of the scraps, leaving room for the new and the already there.
I think the world needs to do a bit more of that. But now you were telling me something earlier. I think it's important for everyone to know about the repercussions of the interest rate on the market, because I know you're more of like you deal with the futures, and you know you sometimes trade those. So what kind of impact you're saying? I think the buyers, there'd be more buyers because the interest is going up next year, for example.
So right now, because the interest rate is going to go up next year, you're going to see market prices kind of on a steady rise right now, because there's going to be more buyers in the market utilizing their buying power. Because as mentioned earlier, first it's going to the original interest rate's going to remain at zero. So therefore, I have more spending room, knowing it's not going to cost me more to do the spending.
Over time.
Yes. Now,
yeah.
when the rates do finally spike, then we're going to see some weird-ish happening.
Like a major correction.
Exactly. So all of that's why a lot of bearish speculators right now are kind of like twiddling their thumbs, just waiting for this bubble to pop, because there's a lot of correction to be had. There's a lot of retracement room. I believe it's stemming back from like March 20. Yeah, from pandemic. So as weird and odd as this sounds, during the whole pandemic, the market has been steadily growing strong.
I mean, we're going to get some money somehow. That's one thing we're going to do in North America.
Print that.
We're going to get some money. Okay, because that's how they made it. That's how they make sure it has to be for us. Can you hit me with that thing?
Yep.
Perfect. That's the one right there. And, while we have a brief interval, I just wanted to ask the listeners, because my mom's been telling me about it a lot, and she don't usually report to me about crypto at all. So does anyone know anything about Jade Protocol?
I've been hearing that buzz a lot as well, but like no one's showing me nothing. So
did a quick overview, did some research, see that they stake coins over there, something like that, some liquidity pool style, crypto earning opportunities. This is not an ad. If anyone knows anything, please DM. Everything validated on Instagram. I'm trying to make some coin.
Meant that.
I need that for sure.
You know what that actually reminds me of? Came up on some other finance.
Hyper fun style.
Somewhat. Kind of the same structure. It's its own community. I'm sure he is now familiar, but he's being too shy to talk about it. But I'm gonna say Niob Finance.
Woo! Oh, you bring that out, the Neo Finance?
Yo,
The cat's out the bag. There you have it.
I ain't gonna lie. It was looking interesting. They got a pretty nice infrastructure over there.
Let me pull up my Neo.
We talking.
For full disclosure, we are invested in Neo.
But remember,
do your own research.
This is not financial advice. We are not financial advisors.
Yet.
Alright. But, yo, they got their own wallet system on the way, en route. They got...
How long?
Christmas.
Okay. I'm the frequently asked questions.
They got in the next quarter, upcoming their own decentralized exchange.
Okay.
So you might be able to pick up them DeFi, them DApps.
DApps. What is a DApp? Actually, matter of fact, that's the perfect one we need for the listeners.
Ooh.
What?
Actually,
what
yes,
is decentralized?
This is very important.
Decentral. I mean, we breezed over it.
So, in another super nutshell, actually no. Let me not give you
Let's make sure everything is validated.
Put that stamp on.
In plain English from the Oxford Dictionary, decentralized is to be controlled by several local offices or authorities rather than one single authority or regulatory organization. Had to put a pause on that live. But that being said, it's kind of like a community regulatory system rather than a centralized system, kind of like how the main banks are regulated by many regulators, but also operate under the Bank Act mainly, right? So that's something in unison that they have, in harmony to regulate them, instead of the whole community doing it
peer to peer.
And that's what it kind of means.
You know, that kind of reminds me, it's almost like bringing it back to the barter system, you know? Like, I trust you, you trust me, I'm giving you this, you're giving me that, I seen it, you seen it, you seen it, all right.
Yeah, it's the you seen, like the others. It's the others that validate it, because at the end of the day, it's like money moved from here and it came here, and everything adds up at the end of the day. So this is valid. That's the blockchain.
In other terms, this completely writes out the fact that you need to get things notarized.
Still very sponsor friendly. So in blockchain terms, it refers to the transfer of control and decision making from a centralized entity, right?
So a like lot of community voting in the decentralized market.
Yes.
Which is pretty awesome.
I'm pro community voting. I'm pro community. You know, so when we get into dApps, things like decentralized apps, that's what that is. So a dApp is a decentralized application. It's on the decentralized internet, and that's one way to access cryptocurrencies, as they are decentralized currencies.
So some popular decentralized applications, we got Just Lend, we got Luminous, and then we got SumSwap.
SumSwap.
There's also some other dope ones, like we're all pretty familiar in the decentralized world with Uniswap,
Uniswap,
Sushi Swap,
Sushi Swap,
Pancake Swap.
Pancake Swap.
We swapping.
And there's Any Swap now too.
And Ape Swap. Don't sleep.
But that sounds like an exchange because it's called swap. Is that actually a DApp?
Yes, it is.
So the exchange is the app.
Yes, it is.
What about the ones that have internet in it?
So stuff like Brave browsers.
Brave. What about MetaMask? Because on MetaMask, it's a wallet, but you can access the internet.
Yes. So MetaMask is one of them powerful dApps. Because in the sense of MetaMask also acts as a decentralized passport, if that makes sense, because you could take your MetaMask to other platforms and use it as your ID.
So I'm getting in because my MetaMask says I'm over 19. What do you mean by
So now, say for example, something like Decentraland. Decentraland is one of those um, gaming blockchain based servers where it's an entire, think of the Sims but on the blockchain. So I could carry my NFTs there.
my sister used to love The Sims. I think she still love it, to be honest. What up, sis?
I still got them expansions. Don't sleep.
For Sims?
Yeah. We out here.
Don't tell her that.
It's on my Xbox though.
I feel you.
But yeah. So with Decentraland, one of the main ways to log in is through one of those. I call them passport dApps for the purpose of using it to sign in on these platforms. So you know how like you'd go on a website and you'd click sign in with Google?
Yeah.
Well, here it's sign in with your MetaMask. Sign in with your e-wallet.
But even with Google and with a real passport, I feel like you don't have too many of those. Excuse me. Like, you might have a couple Google accounts, but like, you don't have too many things like Google to sign in with, like, its main players, you know? You can sign in with your Facebook and with your Google pretty much, most places. So, do you think there's going to be a lot of dApps? Like, we're going to have a million more logins than the million we have already to navigate through the decentralized internet and do what we need to do, whatever that may be?
Well, it's hard for me to say because I'd be ignorant if I were to say no, and I'd be ignorant if I were to say yes. Reason being, it's the blockchain, son. It's creative, it's open, it's decentralized. If I want to do it, I could do it.
What you mean do it? Like make a fingerprint entry?
Done.
That's hard. Now when they do that, I'm gonna put more money in.
Well, it's open. It's open to concept, but in that sense of wallets and things of that nature, reason being why there's so much right now, it's because different platforms offer different coins. That's one in the aspect of why is there so many different wallets, because this one wallet may be able to hold this, and this, but they don't recognize this, and this.
So you think they're going to be a coin in P500?
I don't see why not.
So what I'm referring to, y'all, is like the S&P 500. We've all heard of that. And the Dow Jones is like the top 500. Well, specifically the S&P 500. It's a specific investment company's top 500 group of the companies that are doing the best in the U.S. So let's go ahead and get into our weekly resource brought to you by Everything Validated. Shout out to my boy Mr. Rafix on this one.
This is my most trusted friend. This is every trader's. Before you even brush your teeth in the morning, before you even spread your bed, or even your foot drops to touch the floor from your bedside, you got to check forexfactory.com.
Forexfactory.com. Why is this website important? What if I don't trade Forex?
Jumping over the name, this beautiful, lovely resource gives you all that world economic news on every currency pair. Now, you're thinking to yourself, how does that apply to me in stocks? How does that apply to me in futures? How does that apply to me in every other vehicle?
Yep.
It is very effective in this aspect because it's telling me about world news, economic news. It is also giving me an impact ratio on how that's going to affect the market by three colors.
The folders.
Yes. So based off these three colors, yellow, orange, and red, it's going to give me an indication. Yellow, moderate impact. Orange, somewhat of a large impact. And red, extreme impact.
Major impact.
So say, for example, something like FOMC will get mentioned on Forex Factory.
It says one today. FOMC member Waller speaks. And it's an orange folder. It says currency is relevant to US dollar. It happened at 1 p.m. So it gives you all the relevant details in terms of the who, what, when, where, why. The why, you have to click through to here, and it says description.
This is why this is actually incredible, because when you click into one of the folders on Forex Factory, it gives you a very detailed breakdown.
That's right. So, for example, today it says member Waller is due to speak about the economics outlook at the Forecasters Club of New York. Audience questions expected. Okay, so you'll know that you can tune in. You'll know that there might be a reaction in the market based off the news reported on this website, and it's relevant to all of the markets, to be honest. So
say, for example, news like this, if you're a futures trader and you're trading index pairs or interest rate bonds, like the 30-year the 30-year notes, or the treasury, then you can't trade, because any major news like this will affect those pairs sporadically, and it could be a dangerous market. So this is not something you want to trade. And if you are a funded trader, you can't trade these anyways, because that'll go against the funded trading rules. Plain and simple.
That's game. That might have went over some of y'all heads, and that's okay, because some people are just here to buy and hold stocks that grow over time, right? Brother Ian Dunlap always preaches 2 Tech 2 Index. Some of us are here to just get a mutual fund from our bank. Ultimately, inflation is as high as ever right now. That was something also addressed in the FOMC. Again, that's for the U.S., but it's affecting us. They are our neighbors in trade and in geography as well. With that being said, we have to make sure our money is actually working for us. Not just savings accounts, not under our mattress. I mean, you're telling me about Decentraland, Mana Coin. If we can have some, not all, but a fraction of our money, our savings, our hard-earned pennies, dollars into this opportunity such as cryptocurrency, such as the stock market, Forex, options, mutual funds, GICs.
Make your money make money.
Whatever your level of risk, your risk aversity level is. Your risk averseness. What are you willing to risk? They ask you. If you've never been in the bank, they ask you. I've been. I've been on, well, not both sides, but essentially.
That's actually one of the most important questions, because if
The
you don't
most
understand
important
your
question.
risk, you shouldn't be doing this. In this game, there's actually three things you could control: how much you're willing to invest, what time you're going to get in, and when are you getting out. These are the only things that we could control. Highly important.
Well, most of the time, you can control when you want to get out. I don't mean to scare anybody, but there's be careful. Look into your dealer as well, where you invest with. Okay, do your own research, because you want to make sure you're with a trusted investment dealer and investment broker. Okay, some of the discount brokers, such as also known as self-directed brokers, you're signing away certain terms when you accept that terms and conditions button. Okay, so make sure that you have access to your funds when you want them through who you're dealing with. And we're not exactly investing to access the funds. We're trying to grow the funds. Okay, there's always stipulations involved, such as tax, depending on the type of account you're investing in and withdrawing from. So keep all of that in mind when getting into this space, but don't let that scare you at the same time, right? It takes $20 to get some crypto, $20 to get a fraction of a stock or some stocks.
Start somewhere.
Feel comfortable. Hold on to it. Walk around knowing you own something, not just merchandise, something that has the potential to grow.
Because really and truly, the name of the game is generational.
Your car, it's not making you money most of the time. Shout out my hustlers. There is a few ways.
If you're plugged.
But even if you have to do anything in terms of operating, servicing, maintaining, facilitating that vehicle to make you money, it still took more time than generating a good, sufficient position.
A good portfolio.
Whole portfolio of investments that can change your life, change your attitude. It might change your wife. It might change your latitude. And that's bars, so I need some gratitude. You dig what I'm saying?
Clap up for them, ladies and gentlemen.
For sure, for sure. Nah, I just bought some more crypto today. I'm in a good mood.
I lie, I can't lie. We up today.
The world can't see it. Episode 2 is brought to you by this camera right here. Appreciate that. Visualize. Let us know how we look. If anything, dislikes are invisible on YouTube now, so it's all good.
We still appreciate you. You took the time to sit down and watch this.
Yeah, that part. And we'll be back. I mean, don't lie and say you didn't get no information from this.
Yeah, please don't cap.
That's all we here for.
We see your IP.
We do. It's not bouncing how you thought it was either.
You using that? They using that bit defender. They thought they could slide by.
Episode 3 gonna be called bit defender. Yo, just chill. But yo, that being said, is Troy Ave back?
Whoa. Yo.
Interesting segue, right?
I seen him. I'm gonna keep doing that until we invest into that street though. Out here. But yo, heard he was on academics recently.
If you don't check for me, don't check for me if you ain't gotta check for me.
Jeez.
Respectfully.
Jeez. Yo, you know it's actually so sad? I used to bump Troy Ave, like, mad enough.
Ultimate confidence.
but then he just vanished.
Nah, he went through a lot though. You can't do that to him. If you support him, support him.
Nah, I hear that.
He did vanish though. I'll give you that. I don't know if there's anything to bump. Like, there's a situation where, you know what I mean, allegedly, he was shot in his foreign whip, like in the streets of New York, I believe. There's a situation with him disarming a man with a firearm in a club. You know what I mean? Allegedly. These are not facts for fact, but you can go see how he says it on Academics Pod. Basically, he has an interview with him. It's kind of like a tell-all of why he's been gone. And I thought it was powerful, man. It's like, it's at least 3 hours of information about that specifically. So if you're really a supporter wondering where he went, I would say check that out.
If you was sleeping like I was, then I recommend you tune in, because I'm definitely about to as soon as we up out of here.
And he just talked to us, man. Like he obviously is on a press run, so he has a release. And I did listen to the album. It's interesting. If he's gearing up to be back consistently, I rock with that. Will I say it's amazing? Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's great. It's a listen. You know what I mean? He's competing with a lot right now. I'm sorry. I'm very objective. He's competing with a lot right now. I mean, to be honest, in today's day and age, the way music comes out, it's like anything comes out, you're competing with the albums. I'm sorry. If I have to go to that Piff, wherever I'm going, it might be even more difficult for me to go support your mixtape, which is free, than it is for me to access these albums and single releases. So he competed with the albums, in my opinion, and that's why I would say, but I'm glad he's back. So shout out Troy Ave.
On that note, actually, would you say mixtaping is dead then?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You know why? Because if mixtaping is dead, what am I going to keep calling my album flops? See, we know about you.
Touche.
We know about you, okay? Keep dropping mixtape. Album coming soon, right? That part. The thing is, we need mixtapes. We need mixtapes so that people could say, this is my mixtape. And two, mixtaping is a culture. You know that as a DJ, it'll never be gone. But in terms of the artists releasing mixtapes, formerly they were free, right? So if we're getting free content now, it has to be, I don't even know if that, we leaning more towards more paid music than free music. 100%. We got NFTs in the music space. We got one-of-one albums. People, you get that once, you can't even share that.
Wu-Tang.
You see what I'm saying? We got rare music, so I don't think it's like, as much as it's mass produced now, is only more and more artists every day. I feel like unless they put it straight on even YouTube, they're doing it for a check eventually.
100%.
SoundCloud is monetized now.
100%.
It's up to them if they're not getting paid, but in terms of a mixtape, Lil Wayne gave us them tapes for free.
So I'm actually glad we're going down this path.
It had a cost to make that.
Because now, how would you classify Wiz Khalifa's new project?
That's an album disguised as a mixtape.
Yo,
but it ain't gonna
Wiz
flop.
Is back. Actually, he never left.
And
he never left.
You're right, because
he's just super transitional.
Oh, pardon me, but it's on the streaming services.
It's on the streaming services,
the paid
and
ones.
It's on Dat Piff.
So I think he is at that point where he's releasing it everywhere.
He's changing the game. He's bringing mixtapes to big platforms. He's figured out how to battle against albums. Because what's to say my mixtape with solid content, very good, top-notch
album production. You can't tell me that wasn't an album. That was an album. I just feel like he wants everybody to have it. And think about it. You can't say it's on Dat Piff and it's a mixtape. That's not a definition anymore. It's not a requirement because it's stream only. The streams can be reported back to Nielsen or whatever, SoundScan, so and Sound Exchange. So it's still paying him. It's not free. Like, you're right. So mixtapes might be dead, but I feel like it depends who you are. Because if I'm serious, I can drop a mixtape in my Google Drive.
Truth.
And I can share that with who I want.
Truth.
Pay me $150, you can get my mixtape. I'm starting up. It's super exclusive.
Truth.
You see what I'm saying? So projects have evolved from just mostly, in hip hop having mixtapes. I would say that, and I agree with that. But mixtapes can't die. I need mixtapes.
So if you was looking for gems, start dropping mixtapes and NFTs.
They gonna tell you singles though.
Give you a little fairy dust on that. Creamy.
All right, so we gonna break that. Pause.
Jeez.
Mr. Rafix found a new word, y'all.
This guy's mad.
Soulja Boy once had swag.
Your boy looking creamy. And I'm sounding creamy in the headphones. Let's go. Let's go.
Hell no.
New mic, still creamy.
And I just want to blame this exclusively on DAWs for having presets called creamy lead vocal when you go to select the audio preset. It's y'all fault. We would have never had this implanted in our manifestations. Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Now we gotta listen to this. Creamy in the headphones.
I'm gonna start pulling up. Yo, mark my words. I might just start pulling up looking creamy. AirPod.
That's on you, man. But in terms of cryptocurrency, right? I don't know if there's anything that relates to that right now. So I'm gonna let
creamy
you have.
Coin on the lookout.
If y'all see that, please report him. Report him. He's
Join
going crazy. That's insider trading. We can't be releasing that.
Nah, this decentralized. I don't correspond with your regulations.
Yet.
We over on this side, Team Creamy.
On that side. YDN over here forever. If you know, you know. But that being said, I just wanted to remind everybody that Tri-Ave might be back. We have to support New York because we're so close to them in Toronto. And if you know anything about Jade Protocol, Jade, what do you call it? Jade cryptocurrency, excuse me. Let us know, please. And if you're rocking with the Hip Hop Blockchain Everything Validated podcast series, let us know, please. If you need more clips, we got you.
If you need some adjustments, we got you.
What's your portfolio like? Let us know what's booming. What do we need to invest in? Okay, we have corrected everything for you. It's real easy on all social media platforms. It's everything validated. Instagram, everything validated. Twitter, everything valid. YouTube, everything validated. Okay?
We
so
here.
On anything where you want to see the podcast,
Spotify,
Pandora, Google,
iHeart,
we here. And we here to stay. It's a RSS feed. Okay, you can see that. You can see it on our Facebook. Once you in it, you can bookmark it forever. If you on a audio platform, follow us. You can see it forever. Weekly, we here.
Join the family.
Information every week. Get your paper, get your pen out. Call in. Coming soon. You know what I mean? Write in though. If you got something you want us to discuss, we definitely consider it. Let us know in the email. Okay. Am I missing any? Did we touch on Roddy Ricch?
Woo!
Roddy Rich's album is fire.
First of all, I already knew what time it was from my pressed track 1.
Jeez.
That was transformative. Paying homage to Kanye.
Came with that pressure again. And is it a coincidence that there's always a Sandra Bullock movie out when he drops? Like,
yo,
do they have a partnership?
There could be some.
I've been trying to get that.
There could be some algorithms there, you know. I'm just saying.
They definitely maneuvered the algorithms in the way.
Figured it out.
Sandra, I love the new movie. Okay, I'm willing to do a partnership. I'm gonna keep dropping when she drops. That's
Sandra, just hit up everything validated at gmail.com.
We gonna hit your manager if you don't. And that being said, thank you for listening. This is the Everything Validated podcast, and I am Malik, the engineer.
I am Mr. Rafix.
And we'll be back next week.
Peace.
Peace, y'all.
Cheese.